Welcome to Terrace Neighbors, the podcast where we watch and talk about the Japanese reality television show Terrace House. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Courtney.
Thank you for listening to the very first episode of our podcast. We're currently recording from the giant wind tunnel at NASA Ames Research Park in Mountain View, California. They told us that we have to keep recording in here until we figure out how microphones work in relation to human faces. It's a little bit strict, but here we are. Courtney, can you explain why we're here today?
All right, so Taylor and I, we went to college over in Japan. And because of that experience, I think we have some interesting insight on being a young adult in Tokyo. And probably know some fun things about the places that these people are going to go, since most likely we've been there ourselves and actually have some first-hand experience.
Plus, we also really like to look at beautiful people doing things in beautiful places.
That's always a plus.
Yeah. So obviously it's been picked up by Netflix, and that's how I think a lot of people have been introduced to it. But it did run for a couple of years in Japan before then.
Right.
Did you ever watch it when it was...
I never actually got to watch it while it was running in Japan. I've just heard little things about it, but honestly, the first time I really got a good interest into it was when the Netflix show came out.
But you had a TV.
Yeah, I only really watched like the weird cooking shows, or I would watch the variety shows and they'd eat weird food like bees and say, it's delicious, and that's about it.
Bees?
Yeah, there was one, it was like a can of like bee or bee larva or something.
Ugh.
Yeah, but they made it look really good though. They're like, I would try that.
In the US, that's called Fear Factor, but in Japan, that's called a good time.
Yeah.
Good television. Off topic, do you remember when we were on the waiting at the airport to go to Korea, and they had that like television show on the television where they...
Oh my god, that food looks so good.
Pizza senbei crackers? Yeah. Think about that every day.
Everything always looks so good for food, even the weird stuff. You want to eat it.
That's what they do with all the budgets that they would have had, like paying writers to write jokes. It's just they put it all towards the food cinematography.
Yep, I think it's worth it.
So, reality TV is not super popular in Japan. Because, like, you mentioned, like, variety shows, right?
Yeah.
And then they have, like, those, like, documentary-style programs where they, like, are like, here is a person, or here's a town, and they're touching story about hard work and local culture.
They don't have like a Jersey Shore type dealios.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's not like here when you do have people on reality shows, they're competing for money. Because, you like, they always have those things on the internet, like, check out what wacky thing Japan's doing now. And it's like, eating something, or like that one that had Morning Musume, but they had, was it Morning Musume? Or was it AKB where they had the meat strapped to their faces with the lizard?
Okay. Oh, yeah. I remember that. That was I thought it was AKB.
I can't remember. They're all the same.
I know.
Everyone's like, that's so crazy that they do that. And I'm like, but you have to understand, those are celebrities. Like, they're famous people, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is they make money doing nothing, so why not watch them with some meat strapped to their face?
Makes for good television, in my opinion.
So that's why Terrace House is sort of unusual, right? Because it's like, it's an unscripted television show with real people. Mm-hmm. Except, they do have, like, the hosts who are famous. Because I don't think... You gotta ease the Japanese people into reality television. They're not quite ready to be like, who are these randos? They have to have a
recognizable face.
Exactly.
To bring them into the show. Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of how the format of that show goes, right? So you have the sort of more American style, unscripted reality show, but it's framed by these, like, famous people sitting around watching it on TV making commentary.
And I love their commentary.
Which is a little bit meta if you think about it, because that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
They're already doing a podcast about Terrace House, but it's on Terrace House.
No, what are we doing?
We're too slow. But yeah, since those are the first people that we meet, right, when we watch episode 1, we are first introduced to the hosts. They introduced Netflix's Terrace House and kind of introduced that this is an existing show and it's been picked up by Netflix, which had just become a thing in Japan. Unfortunately, Because we had just moved away, right?
Yeah.
Terrace House, Boys and Girls in the City was first released in 2015. I left Tokyo in January of 2014
And then I left in April or so.
because it just wasn't worth living there if we both weren't together. So that's how I've been telling the story to myself.
After 4 months or so of it, and I couldn't take it anymore. I had to
Yeah,
go.
I know. I tell people all the time, they're like, "Why'd you leave Japan?" I'm like, "Well, I was sort of on the fence," and I found out that Courtney was also leaving, probably in the spring, and I was like, "Well, then forget it. What's the point?" So they introduced that this has been picked up in 2015, and Netflix hit, which is a shame because I would have loved to have Netflix while I was living there.
It would have been great.
Would have
But,
been
you know,
great.
hindsight's 2020.
Yep. So at this point, there are there are 6 hosts in episode 1. 3 women, 3 men, just like the show.
Oh my god.
Oh
Just
my
realized.
God, layers upon layers, Courtney. We're just like
It's an
pulling it apart.
onion. It's a terrace onion.
Terrace Onion. Okay, that's the new name of the podcast. I hate Terrace Neighbors. It's now Terrace Onion.
Terrace onions now. I like it.
Okay. So one of the hosts, his name is Yu. She's sort of the older woman. She's a singer, model, actress. She was really popular in the 80s and 90s. And now she does a lot of TV appearances. Did you ever see the movie Nobody Knows or Daremo Shiranai?
I don't
It's that
remember.
movie about like the mom who abandons her kids in an apartment and they're like starving to death.
Oh god, no, I have not seen that.
Well, it's a devastating movie, and she played the negligent mom. So that's her claim
Oh,
to
okay.
fame.
I know I've seen her face
Yeah.
and stuff everywhere and all the time on TV shows and stuff, but I just didn't really know who she was or why she was famous.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a lot of people in the
True.
Japanese show business. And then we have Reina Trendle, she's sort of like the center. She
She always kind of starts the episode
Yeah,
and what
leads the
they had talked
discussion.
about and that kind of stuff.
she's a model, and she's what we call tarento, which are these people who basically just show up and are on variety shows and make jokes and talk.
Super cute.
Whenever I see her, I think of those hair removal salon ads that were on the train all the time.
Oh,
I don't know. I can't remember what it was like called, like Epide or something like that. That
Yeah.
hair removal salon, and so she was always on those ads next to a big furry monster that was like, "Get your legs waxed."
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so whenever I see her, I just think of that. And
Wax your legs.
wax your legs, says Rita Trendle. And then we got a whole bunch of comedians. We have Tokui Yoshimi and Yamasato Ryota. Those are the 2 older guys. They're
Right.
both comedians. We have Babazono Azusa, who is the
The other lady, right?
other lady. I'm trying to place her age. And then we have Mochizuki Ayumu, who's the baby.
Oh my god, he's so cute. I love him.
He's an actor, right? But I feel like the weirdest choice was like, why is he here?
Yeah.
Because I think the hosts on this ones were the hosts for the old show, except for maybe Dana, who's just cute.
Yeah.
And
I guess he's the just cute boy, so.
maybe he's like this up and coming new star, but it's like he's 14 and he's watching this show about like 20 something.
I just like how everyone else calls him cute and stuff the entire time, so.
He's like really cute.
Yeah. All those cute little moles and stuff.
Yeah. So before we actually get into the show, I just want to talk a little bit about the history of it.
Yeah.
You mentioned that this is sort of a reboot that was done by Netflix. But the original show, Terrace House, originally aired from 2012 to 2015, which was sort of our peak time living there,
Yeah.
which is a shame that we never watched it. So originally aired from 2012 to 2015, had 8 seasons because Japanese television does not follow the same season logic that American TV does. Can't really comprehend how you fit 8 seasons in 3 years, but they did it, so good for them.
Amazing. Oh my god.
According to the show's Wikipedia page, there were 22 cast members over those 8 seasons. So I guess it just sort of cycled. I guess they didn't do a hard reset every time. I think it just sort of people came, people went.
Came and left. Okay.
And I did want to say one extra thing. because, Courtney, you never watched it and it wasn't really on your radar, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never watched it either, but I know it was super popular when we were there, and it was on my radar because one of my old roommates, Nana, Courtney knows Nana.
Yeah.
We used to live together, and then after we split up, we moved to different apartments. Once our lease was up, she decided to move into a bunch of share houses, which had typically kind of only been for foreigners living in Tokyo, because it's like really cheap and you don't have a lot of like space, but it's good at last minute and you can leave whenever you want.
Yeah.
She lived in this beautiful share house in, I think it was like outside of Shinjuku. She lived in this beautiful share house that was a converted like factory or warehouse. So all of the rooms, like all the bedrooms, the doors slid up like you would see in like a storage unit.
Okay.
But she lived in all these really nice share houses because a bunch were popping up across Tokyo because everybody was watching Terrace House and they wanted to live in that sort of stylish shared living experience thing.
Okay.
Because, people don't really have roommates in Japan.
No, not really.
We were within this like foreigner group, and then we had groups of roommates because we were, all American or whatever, and that was part of our cultural experience. But thinking about like the Japanese friends that we had.
No, either they lived already at home with their family, or I guess on their own.
Yeah, because I think it's a lot more socially acceptable in Japan to live with your parents until you get married or until like a certain point.
Right.
Whereas like American culture, like as soon as you turn 18,
get out of my house.
Exactly. So this is sort of like the first time that people were like, oh, you can share a big house with other beautiful 20-somethings.
I would also like to do that as a beautiful 20-something myself.
Because everybody in Tokyo is a beautiful 20-something.
Of course.
That's why we had to leave, is because we were aging out and they were just like, no
good. No good no more.
No, that's not true. Because we left when we were like 21, 22, so we were in our prime.
I'm still working towards my prime. I'm waiting for 30.
Oh god, my 30s are gonna be so good to me. I can tell.
You can feel it?
I can just feel it.
I'm just waiting for my skin to get amazing. Like it's getting there. 2018's my glow up here.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. I'll get there. And then they'll let us back.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so that's Terrace House. Do you want to get into the episode 1?
Yes.
All right.
Let's do that.
So episode 1, as we established, is called New Boys, New Girls, New City. And this one is actually, I guess, filmed in like central Tokyo, which apparently previous seasons were not. They were filmed out in like the suburbs of Tokyo outside of the 24 main wards. But this was filmed right there in the middle of it.
Beautiful house, beautiful car, beautiful people, as they usually introduce it in the show.
Which on the car, it's like there's a car for them to use, right? So we like first see the house, which is brand new and really gorgeous. They have a pool, which is incredible. No, I've never seen a house in Japan with a pool.
Nope.
But then they have this giant ass car. But like, how many young Tokyoites actually have a driver's license?
Everyone seems to be like a paper driver, not an actual like. No one. I knew one girl, one of my coworkers, who actually drove, and we were in the car with her when we went to like Disneyland or something like that. But she's the only one.
Oh, I also had a Japanese friend who took me to Disneyland in her car.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, and so I mean, maybe one of them has a driver's license.
But most of the people make it sound like, oh yeah, I can drive, but I don't really, so.
Yeah, so that's a little terrifying.
A little bit.
So we are introduced to the house, and then the first to come in is this guy named Makoto.
My boy, Makoto. Yes.
He's 21, and he's a fourth year at Meiji Gakuin, which is a pretty respectable college. Which it feels so weird, like as an American watching this, it's like, where's the host?
Oh, for giving like talking about him or something,
or just like introducing them. It's like you watch like The Bachelorette or Survivor, and there's that dude who's just standing in the middle with his hands clasped, who's like introduces everything and tells them where to stand.
Yeah.
And this time it's just like, Have at it.
Let's go in there.
Yeah. So he just kind of like awkwardly walks in, shuffles, and like, ugh,
No one's there.
it's so awkward. It's like it feels like moving into a college dorm, which might be the appeal of this. It's that like co-ed living situation that you
Yeah.
know, in America you'd get when you live in a school dorm, but in Japan you can only get it if you go on to
Well,
television.
is that how you felt when you were like coming into the dorms when you were first going to school?
I was one of the first people there, I think, when we
Okay.
moved. So, little backstory. Courtney and I met in college in Tokyo. We both studied abroad, and we started at the same time. And so we lived in the same college dorm for the first couple of months, and then we split up and lived in different apartments. So that's how we know each other. So I think when we moved into the college dorm, which was just for the foreign students, by the way, like I think there was like maybe one or two actual Japanese students who were allowed to stay, but it was like a special
Yeah.
case, and then they had to have extra room. But the foreigners would live in the dorm. I was one of the first people there, so it's like you go in and you put your stuff down, and then you're just sort of like, now what?
I guess you probably feel like how Makoto felt.
Yeah, just
No, I don't think I was definitely not one of the first. I think I was kind of one of the last
yeah.
ones to get in.
I think by the time you came, we had all sort of like found our group, because that's
Yeah.
the worst part about moving into a college dorm is like it's all that pressure of like these are my new best friends,
Hmm.
and so you kind of like clump. It's like you can't be that one guy who just goes in and closes the door, and I'm like I'm not going to talk to people. Yeah, so Makoto kind of stands there awkwardly by himself for a little bit, until the second person comes in,
Let's see. That was who was the second one? Oh,
Minori.
it was the yeah. Okay, the model girl.
Yeah, so she's 21. She's also a university student. She goes to Nichidai. That's what it said on there, but what's Nichidai? Nichidai.
Today.
Google. Oh, Nihon University.
Oh,
I
okay.
should have known that. Yeah, like she goes, yeah, so she
Does
goes,
it say what she studied? What did she study?
oh, I think wrote that down later. I think she does some sort of science, because later she talks about doing experiments with like mice.
Oh, I thought that was the other girl, the medical student.
No, no, I think Minori does it too.
Okay. I just couldn't remember her saying what she studied. If she
Oh, or
said.
no, she just says she does something with fish. So like Minori
Oh,
does
okay.
like animal behavior or something maybe, or some,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of Japanese students end up going into something like really practical, like fish husbandry.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so she goes to Nihon University, also in Tokyo, and so they kind of talk. It's awkward, and then
Then I think Yuki, the tap dancer, comes in next, right?
yeah, so he's the oldest. He's 28, and he's like a professional tap dancer.
Oh my god, he's so old
I mean,
compared to everyone
at
else.
this point, we are now closer to Yuki's age than any of the others. But since this came out in 2015, we were probably around the age of most of them. Like, we were, like, what, 22, 23? 22 going on 23.
Yeah, 23.
So we were most of their ages. But yeah, Yuki just feels so different from everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your first thought, or your first take on Makoto, aside that you love him?
Yeah, I loved him, and he seemed like someone I could get along with and stuff.
Yeah, he has that sort of like fresh-faced, sort of like masculine quality, and like you see him, and you're
Yeah.
like, that boy plays baseball.
Oh my gosh, I want to touch his arms. His tan
Okay, like
arms.
I wasn't gonna take it that direction, but okay, if you want to
Oh,
if you want to
okay.
go that way,
Oh, he could teach me how to play baseball out in the yard.
put his hands on your wrists
Yes, of
like a
course.
movie.
My tiny dainty wrist with his strong manly tan baseball hands.
Baseball hands.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I think Minori's pretty, and but like in sort of a girl next door kind of way, which
Yeah.
makes me laugh. It's like I feel like if you're cute and you live in Tokyo, of course you model part time. Like what else is there to do?
Yeah. Work at a bakery? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a girl in Tokyo and you're pretty, you either work in a bakery, a Starbucks, or as a part time model.
It's one of the requirements.
Yeah.
One of those three.
Yeah, when you go to the ward office to register, they're like, okay, Here are your acceptable occupations.
Pick one.
Just like when you're a
or two.
just like when you're a foreigner, they're like, okay, here's a list of English conversation schools.
Yeah. Well, or if you get lucky and work at Costco like me.
Yeah. I mean, you could also work at Costco. Teach English or work at Costco. Your two options. And then Yuki, aside from being the oldest man to ever be filmed on tape.
I mean, got his established a career. He has like a lot of awards and stuff, doesn't he, with his tap dancing?
Yeah, it said actually down like in the Japanese, it said that he even studied abroad in New York when he was like 19.
So he's pretty legit.
Yeah, he's like studied at like a proper New York school.
Cool.
But I don't know, he kind of surprises me because like everyone else is so conventionally attractive in that sort of drama sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could all be actors, and I'd be like, yeah, okay. Even now, I'm still not 100% sure they're not all actually actors. But Yuki, he has this sort of like slightly skeevy quality to him.
Yeah, it's the mustache or
It's
whatever
the
he's
mustache.
got going on.
He looks like he looks like the kind that villain who ties people up to train tracks.
He sure does. And then tap dances away.
Tap dances with his hat like the dancing frog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Goodbye, my honey, goodbye, my baby, goodbye, darling Sue. However that song goes.
I mean, that's a lot better than what I know, so...
Oh.
So going through my notes, all I've written is in all caps is pit stains.
Oh yeah, that's all I can think about for the first episode. Honestly, it's the first thing that comes up. Pit stains.
Makoto, that sweaty boy.
Working so hard playing baseball.
I mean, also, it's filmed in Tokyo in the summer, so it's probably a quadrillion degrees.
Yeah.
With a million% humidity.
I mean, the humidity here at home hasn't gotten that bad. It's only 80 and I'm like sweating bullets outside.
But you're from Alaska.
Okay, still.
And then fourth, next comes in is Mizuki, who's another one of the girls.
She's so beautiful.
She's 22. She's an office worker at a company that does soccer things. They show her at work in the second episode.
Yeah.
And they seem to be doing some sort of like event management. Like maybe she works in the administrative office for something. I don't know.
Doing some soccer stuff. I don't know anything about soccer, so soccer things.
But she's just so gentle and soft-spoken. I love her so much.
And she cooks.
She's got that like big sister vibe.
Yeah.
I just want to like put my face on her lap.
I would want her to be my big sister. We could talk about boys and hair, and we could do each other's nails. And have just a good time.
I would like her to be my big sister, but like in one of those girls love Catholic school anime ways.
Oh my god.
Where I call her One-san.
Yes.
And our love is so pure.
I'm here for it.
I also took note that everybody's wearing gray, which is a fun thing about Tokyo fashion, is if you follow the blogs and you see like the Harajuku style, you're like, everyone in Tokyo is so stylish and like eccentric, and they always just like push the envelope for like what style. And I'm like, also, well, there's like 5 people who do that. The rest of like the 10 million people who live in Tokyo just
wear the same thing.
They wear the same thing. And that summer, it was probably gray.
Yep, that was the color.
That was the color. And then, so who comes in next?
I think it was Yuriko, the medical student girl.
No.
She was next, right?
Tatsuya.
Oh, hairstylist?
Yeah, Uchi. So next who comes in is Tatsuya. Or they call him Uchi, because his last name's like Uchihara or something like that. He's also 23, and he's a hairstylist in Daikanyama, which is one of like the really stylish neighborhoods in Tokyo. Fancy.
He knows fashion,
yeah.
Or at least hair.
Yeah, well, he brings in a sewing machine, so he like likes to sew.
Oh, that's right.
Which is such a weird thing. Like, I feel like that just wouldn't fly. Also in American television, to have like this handsome straight dude come in and he's like, I'm a hairstylist, I like to sew, I'm gonna hit on all the girls.
I'm here to get a girlfriend.
Maybe people would be like, okay, but I think there are I think it's just like different. It's not seen
whatever. acceptable norms, I
Yeah.
suppose.
And I think being a
Gender
hairstylist
norms.
in Tokyo is more seen more as like a stylish occupation than a
Oh
feminine
yeah.
occupation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But then the last person to come in is
Yuriko.
Yuriko. She's also 23 and she's a senior at Teikyo University. She's like pre-med.
She could be like my doctor anytime. I'd be so happy to go see her. She's so cute. And, like I would probably feel better instantly just seeing her face. Be like, okay, I'm gonna give you a shot now.
She's so small. Like
Okay.
I could see her as being like private, but not like seeing her like on like a drama or something like in a
Oh
hospital,
no.
being like lifting guys out of cars. I don't know how
I would want to
hospitals.
see that though. I'd want to see
I
it.
bet she's really strong.
I think so too.
Yeah. So we meet all of our contestants, or not? They're not contestants. Our
Just the people.
our cast.
People living there.
Yeah. So with the boys we have Makoto, Tatsuya, and Yuki, and then with the girls we have Midori, or Minori, not Midori. Minori, Mizuki, and Yuriko. Everyone's so nervous.
Oh, I mean, who wouldn't be? You're meeting a bunch, like, five other strangers, and you don't know what they're going to be like or how they're going to take to you initially. I mean, Makoto's already got the pit stains that Yuki pointed out, so he's probably sweating even more.
God, Yuki's like, he's just reinforcing that villain thing. He's just like,
He
points
really
out
does.
your greatest insecurity.
Makes you deal with it right there in front of everyone.
Yep. But I wonder, like, could you imagine if they pumped them full of alcohol like they do on The Bachelor?
God. They probably, well, with knowing what we know about Yuki, he'd probably get all deep and stuff and everyone would cry, but
Because that's what they do on, like, The Bachelor, right? It's like it's filmed all night because it takes forever for them to do all the introductions. So by the time they actually have everybody in one house, everyone's just been drinking and drinking.
plastered.
They're plastered. And that's why the first episode is always the most, like, bonkers. Because everyone's trying to stand out and they're all super drunk all the time. It's like, it's so weird to see someone be nervous on, like, a reality show.
It's kind of nice, you know. I relate to them. It's like if I was there in the house,
Yeah.
I'd probably feel the same.
And then the hosts, like, they kind of they take a moment to kind of talk about the people who've come in. The hosts immediately start, like, putting them into, like, character archetypes.
Oh yeah.
Like this is a drama, which the opening sequence is like, it makes it seem like a drama. So it's like, Yuriko's the girly one. They keep saying that Minori is the exotic one, which I don't know. Probably because she's like tan, but Japan's got weird issues.
I don't really get it, but whatever.
Yeah, and it's like a dating
It's not even
show.
meditating.
It's like they're figuring out which ones will be the most popular.
That's true.
And like when they're all standing around, like you can kind of tell they're all like checking each other out.
Almost,
And
yeah.
everyone's there to like meet somebody, but none of them actually want to admit that they're there to
Oh,
meet
except for
people.
Uchi.
Except for Uchi, because he's
Straight
just
up.
like comes in, kicks down the door, slams down his sewing machine,
Sewing machine.
and he's just like, "Sup?"
Hey, ladies.
That's my impersonation of Uchi.
That sounds just like him.
Thank you.
Wait, because he's got a high voice anyway, so it's
Sup?
perfect. All right, so after they all get introduced and talk to each other, what do they do next? Didn't they like
They go on a
try
tour.
to decide what they wanted to eat?
No, they go on the
Or-
tour of the house.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful house.
It's so like white and clean and empty though, so like it feels
Yeah.
really artificial.
They probably built it for the show. That's what
Or
I imagine.
or it might be just like, it could be just one of those houses that you rent for like shooting for like
Oh.
movies or dramas or something.
Yeah,
Because
I see that.
I think it's filmed in the Azabu or Shirakane neighborhoods because it's very close
Mm-hmm.
to where we went to university,
Okay.
based on like kind of where they are. Or it could be, I mean, it could be as far as like Den and Chofu, but I don't think so.
Okay.
It's like that part, and that's like Roppongi. Like that's a very expensive neighborhood.
It looks like an expensive house.
Yes, like that's
so-
where celebrities live. They all live in like Azabu. So
I just like the 3 shower head and the jacuzzi
Yeah.
bath. All this. I want to take a bath in that jacuzzi bath.
I know the girls' dorm is so cute, and then they like
It
it
is.
has the bunk beds, and then they check out the bathroom, and they immediately all get in the tub, and then they get into their beds. It's so cute.
Nice, and they seem like they bond pretty quickly. They're like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
look, there's 3 shower heads, one for each of us. We can all shower together, bonding.
Best friends. It's like, but I feel bad for the boys because they're like in like the basement, and they don't get
Oh
like they
yeah,
don't get natural light. They don't get cute little bookshelves on their beds.
they don't.
We
Not
don't
the
even get to
beautiful
see we
view.
don't get to see their bathroom.
Oh yeah, we don't. We just see that one lounge room.
Yeah.
I think that's by their room or something.
But it's also sort of unfair too, because it's like, okay, so the boys can't read or bathe, but
Nope.
the girls don't get like a neutral hangout space. It's like when they have their little chats, it's always in the bedroom. Like, what if they want to have a private chat, just the
Hmm.
two of them? Where's
I guess
their
it's there's like a little balcony or something though.
yeah, maybe. Oh
You can
yeah,
sit
because
out.
there's so much storage, and the house is just so big, and so I'm like, what's in the rest of the house? Like, are the crew members staying there?
Oh yeah, where would they stay? So
But
we
yeah,
get to see their cute house.
and then they go back to the kitchen and they kind of talk
Okay.
about what they want to eat.
And Makoto immediately says
Because
omurice,
of
omelet
course
rice.
he likes omurice because he's an 8-year-old boy.
Yep, I also like it too. It's
Me
so good.
too. Let it go on the record is the only thing I can actually cook very well from scratch.
Please make it for me sometime.
Okay, I will make it to you. I'll make it for you and then mail it across the country.
Please do. I will eat immediately.
It,
It'll be
it,
delicious.
it may kill you.
Ah, it's worth it.
Okay. But I don't know. It's like they're like let's make food. But I feel like if I were in that situation, I would have just been like, let's order a pizza.
Well, because what did they make? Like was it the sushi stuff that they made or something like that? Where you
The
kind of had to all come together and make it all together?
I don't remember what they eat.
I'm pretty sure it was like some sort of sushi or rolls or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, I think it might have been like they had like made like the lettuce rolls with the meat and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
there might have been sushi too. I don't know.
I thought it was kind of a good idea because it's a way it was like an icebreaker. We're
Mm,
making stuff to eat and kind of bring everyone together in the kitchen.
I guess
I
that's
mean,
true, and sort of set up that routine of like we're gonna be living together.
yeah. Even though ordering a bunch of pizza and having a pizza party would have also been good, but maybe that's just our like American point
Yeah,
of view.
but I really liked when the guys were like, or maybe it was just Yuki. It's probably just Yuki. He was just like, well, the girls are gonna be cooking, and like Yuriko goes like, I don't think that's gonna be happening.
Yeah, that sounds like what Yuki would say,
It's like
honestly.
she's like so cute, but she's also kind of sharp. And it's
Yeah.
like he was like, yeah, the girls are gonna cook, and she's like, I don't think so.
No.
So I like that. She's not gonna. She's like, you can tell like she's soft spoken and she's cute, but she's not gonna be pushed around.
Right.
But then we go to them like going grocery shopping, which is the reason why I've brought you here today, Courtney,
Oh, yes.
because of all the grocery stores they go to Nissin,
Ooh.
which is the international import grocery store in Azabujuban down the street from our university, where I would go to whenever I wanted to drink root beer or buy pretzels, because you could only get those in like import stores. You went there, right?
I think I went once or
I
twice.
think
Yeah, it was once or twice, and the biggest memory I have was this really tall Japanese dude in like the Chicago Bulls. Like his entire outfit had like Chicago Bulls. I think they're are they basketball? I think they're basketball. I don't know sports, basketball,
a
football, but
sport, a sport.
A sport team, the Chicago Bulls, like decked out entirely. And whoever was with, we just kind of both looked at him and looked at each other. And we're just like, what?
I think the two of us went once.
I think we did. I
Yeah.
remember I've been twice. My only memory is the Chicago Bull guys and not the actual store.
Well, it's just like it's all import food,
Yeah.
so it's
Oh my
so
gosh, they have
expensive.
frosted flakes.
We can get frosted flakes anywhere.
Well, yeah, but like with corn pops. There we go.
Oh, corn pops. Yes.
Something else.
Is yeah, it's like so how rich are they? Like how much of a budget are they given or
Oh,
are
that's a good
they
question.
allowed that they can go to Nishin of all places and buy their overpriced cuts of meat
And lettuce.
and lettuce.
Yeah.
But when they go to the grocery store, Makoto can drive, so he drives them there. So that just sets up my headcanon that he is a country boy.
Ooh, I never thought
He's a
about
boy
that.
from the country. He's coming out to Tokyo to play in the big leagues and go to a good school, and that's why he can drive.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. It makes me love Makoto even more. Like, who doesn't love a country boy coming into the city? Hey, y'all. Howdy. I wish he actually had an accent and talked like that, but
Maybe he does. I'm not familiar enough with like Japanese dialects to pick it up.
well, they don't. None of them sound like they really have like a dialect. It all sounds like the standardized
Well,
Japanese
they're in
dialect to
Tokyo.
me.
They gotta
True.
conform. So yeah, so then
It's tough.
they make dinner together and they eat it.
Oh, and then this Yuki starts up with his deep questions
I
again.
know, he goes like straight to the point. He's just like, "What's your type?" And then you can tell they're like all like sitting, just like looking at each other. It's like that episode of
Yep.
Community where they're like, where Jeff is like, "Anybody here is a potential romantic partner," and then they all just kind of like, everyone turns and like makes meaningful eye
Looks.
contact across the table.
But I guess, right from the get go. I guess, yeah, him and Uchi. It's like, what kind of girl you want?
Yeah, and like, and so the hosts kind of they take a moment with the hosts, and Yuriko's identified as probably the most popular, and I can't remember who. I think it's like maybe Tokui. He makes a prediction that there's gonna be like a love triangle between Makoto, Yuriko, and Mizuki,
Oh,
with
okay.
Makoto in the center. Because
Right.
like Yuriko's the pretty girly one, and then Mizuki's the older, mature type who knows sports
And how to cook.
and how to cook. But Yuriko can probably do. I was gonna say ASMR, but that's very different. CPR.
CPR. There you go. Or like help with the
Help!
baseball stretches or
Help!
something. I don't know.
Is this man is choking? Is there a YouTuber here? Quick, whisper,
CPR.
whisper into his
ASMR.
ear. Crinkle up some tissue paper. He's losing consciousness.
Now do a mukbang.
What?
A mukbang. They like it's part of the ASMR stuff, isn't it? Like you eat. It's a Korean thing where
Oh,
you
okay.
eat food and the camera, but like some people have the microphones up close and like you can hear them like eating it and stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's like a thing in the ASMR.
I don't
They
like
eat,
that.
yeah, or like eating pickles, just like a bunch of chewy stuff.
Eating
Quick,
pickles.
quick, eat a pickle really close to his ear.
Yeah. But then in the end, they end episode one with the boys sitting around and kind of talking. And Uchi says he likes Mizuki and also Yuriko. So a dark horse appears on the horizon,
Oh no.
here to swipe up all the ladies.
With his sewing machine.
So dreamy.
Oh, I have something here in my notes
Oh,
that, let's see what I said. Oh, because everyone pretty much, from what it seems like, they're going on the Terrace House kind of to look for someone to date or whatever. And so I'm wondering, like, would you even go on Terrace House, or is that part of the requirement that you have to be single? Can you go on to Terrace House while having a significant other?
yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's not a requirement because they do ask everybody. Like, they're sitting around, they're like, hey, are you single? I'm single. I'm single. We're all single.
And beautiful.
And I imagine when the first season aired, which was sort of like revolutionary, it was like it was a huge hit. No one had ever seen anything like that before. Probably they had,
Other people that they were dating or
yeah, it was
married or
probably less
something.
specific, and but then their love did blossom, and there was drama, and the showrunners were like, "Oh,
We're onto
haha,
something. Ooh, okay.
quit your
Uh,
day job." It probably is their day job. I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's episode one.
Very fun introductions. Get the
Yeah.
feel for the characters. Definitely, I feel like the people that stood out the most to me, well, with my bias, like Makoto and Mizuki, um, just
Courtney, you lived in Japan for almost 4 years.
whatever. Can't talk. Um, I mean, just from the initial like looks and ooh, I like them, and so you kind of
Yeah.
paid more attention. But then Yuki, just from I guess his personality, made me kind of like, oh, I want to pay attention to this guy more.
Really?
But
I hate
poor,
him.
well, I didn't. It wasn't because I like him. It's just
Okay.
because it's like,
He's
better keep an eye
interesting.
out for this guy. Yeah, he's more interesting to me anyway.
Okay.
Compared, anyone else. And then really like Yuriko and Tatsuya, I don't know. I just didn't really get a good
Yeah, they're not like
impression. It was just like wah, wah, they're
yeah.
there.
Exactly. Same thing with Minori. Like Minori's cute too, but like
Yeah.
but yeah, and then we're gonna go into episode 2, which is called Three Crushes. So wonder what's gonna happen
Ooh,
this
what's
week.
gonna happen?
So what I really my first note that I really like is I really like that the hosts are allowed to just kind of casually read off the script.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Dana does not make any effort to like memorize this. She's a
She always
busy
has a
lady.
clipboard, right?
Or it's like an iPad or something. She's always
Something,
reading
yeah.
off of something. She's got that hair waxing money. She like doesn't need to work
Put
hard.
in the effort. No,
No, she's just here. She's gonna read off a piece
she's
of paper.
she's good.
Yeah. Um, they also have a chalkboard wall in the kitchen, which I really like. I want one of those in my kitchen.
Oh yeah,
And
because is this what Makoto writes like he's going to
yeah,
practice on
he's
it or
such a
something?
good boy.
It's like bye guys,
He's like,
going to practice.
that's good communication.
It is actually, especially if you're not like he's leaving early in the morning and if you're not going
Yeah.
to see people. That way they know where you're at. Even though I guess technically we all have cell phones so could text each other, but maybe if you don't want to give a complete stranger that you've only known for like 24 hours your number, there's a checkboard or a what do you call
Chalkboard.
it?
Chalkboard.
A chalkboard
Chalkboard.
instead.
And then they show them kind of going throughout their day. Mizuki's in the kitchen. She's eating my fave, Frost Flakes, which is called Corn Frosties.
Still always good.
Always good. Our life together is off to a good start. We have compatible breakfast tastes. And
That's always an important thing is breakfast. Like the important meal of the day.
Yeah.
So you got to be compatible.
so, yeah, it's important for your day and it's important for your relationship and your marriage because that's the future I see for Mizuki and me.
Yep. Oh yeah. One of the things I noted is as they were going through again with their little introductory things, talking about them. This time they were showing how long they had been single for,
Yeah, and
and so
it showed that like they've been single for a while and also told them like where they're from, which they didn't show everybody this episode. So I'm still holding on to the idea that Makoto is a country boy.
oh, I gotta pay more attention because honestly, I just looked at how long they were single. I didn't look
Oh.
at the other stuff
How,
because I can't say Mizuki's freaking name. Mizuki had been single 2 years, just like me. I was like, oh my gosh, we're the same person. Just I need more her hair to be that beautiful. But I don't know. That's what stood out to me for her. Everyone else was like, it was her and Yuki, I think, that had the longest, I guess, gap in relationships. Everyone else was like 6 months, a couple months,
and wasn't like
whatever.
Yuriko's like she had just broken up. Like it said
Yeah,
it'd
I
only been
think
like a
so.
month or two.
Something like that.
But yeah, I took note from where they're from. Uchi's from Chiba. Yuriko is from Fukuoka, which is in the south. So I wonder if like that's like maybe the most like country of the crowd. Like that's the farthest to come. Mizuki is from Ibaraki, which I don't know why I find so delightful. Like I wonder if it's because of like the movie Kamikaze Girls, but I always think of like Ibaraki as being like this kind of rough place. So I'm like, do
Yeah.
you think she was in a biking? Do you think she was a Yankee?
I like to imagine it because I feel like it fits.
Oh,
She was like the leader.
I bet she's so strong.
She looks strong.
She looks so
Strong
strong.
for me and strong for you.
Ugh, I want her to
I'd follow
pick
her
me up.
anywhere.
Uh, actually, that's my question, Courtney. If you were
Yes.
a cast member on this show, what would your like little blurb be? It'd be like your
Well,
name, like
be my name, and then it'd be like from Alaska. So that'd be my biggest interesting point is Alaska, because ooh, everyone always is interested in that part.
because
Be the same as Mizuki for the amount of time single, and then I would also have it mentioned that my favorite animal is guinea pigs. Well, and the and okapi, okapi,
oh, did you have
okapi.
Okapi? Okapi?
Yeah, yeah, an okapi, which we had a friend who didn't believe they were real,
Oh my
but
God,
they are real.
I forgot about that.
So
Who was that?
that was Brandon.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's so dumb.
Yep. But I can't even talk today. I'm sorry. Guinea pigs and okapi. I think there'll be some interesting points that people would remember about me.
Yeah.
So.
Um, yeah,
Oh, and I
my,
guess American, but
oh,
it's
well,
stated with saying we're from Alaska, or I'm
yeah.
from Alaska, but
Araskashu.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, mine would be like, hey, this is Taylor. She's 25. She's from California.
Ooh.
And she's been single for, how do you math? What month is it?
It's April?
April? She's been single for 10 months. Oh yeah.
Woo!
Woohoo.
Well, so you'd fit right in with the rest of
I
them with
would.
like
I'd be like,
the amount
yeah,
of
I've
time.
just gotten out of a relationship and I'm ready to love again. But that's not why I'm here.
Just here to
Because
make lasting friendships.
and live life in the big city.
Oh yeah, a
Uh,
new city, a new
yeah.
girl.
And I loved seeing Uchi at work, just because like Japanese salons are so stylish.
Wait, you went to them pretty frequently. I
Oh
never
yeah.
went to one.
Did you never get your hair cut in Tokyo?
Nope.
Ah, yeah. Oh man, so I've been bleaching my hair since 2011. So I would go every couple of months. I went to a salon in Harajuku. It was very fancy. It was always so fancy. Oh, it's so fancy. They would give you like a neck and shoulder and head massage, which was a little weird at first because they're like karate
Oh.
chopping your skull, and you're like, I don't get it.
Okay.
Please stop touching me. But I miss it. It was so nice.
I
Yeah.
guess I should try that next time I'm over there
Yeah,
one day.
they're always so stylish though. Like everyone there is young and beautiful and like dresses well, and the place always has interesting architecture, and they always have the perfect balance of like simplicity and cleanliness and clutter.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean.
Like the wood is always like has interesting grains in it, and they always have like just the right number of plants. I like seeing Uchi in his beautiful Daikanyama salon.
All his other beautiful coworkers talking about how do you like everyone in the house? Did you find a girl you like? And he's like, oh yeah, I found a girl I like.
All of them.
Oh yeah, all of them out of all three. 3 out of 3. It's great.
My odds are excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's actually another interesting thing too about the show, right? Is that they like actually show them like they can leave the house.
Yeah.
Like
They're not just trapped.
American reality shows, we love to just isolate people. Just be like, you
See,
can't
yeah.
talk to your loved ones. Welcome to The Biggest Loser. We're going to emotionally abuse you into losing an insane amount of weight in way too short of a time. And we're going to make sure that you can't talk to your wife or your children until you're skinny enough.
Yeah.
And maybe if you pass this challenge in Survivor, you're going to. Did I say that? Survivor?
Survivor.
Survivor. Remember if you're going to think it's Survivor. You'll win this recorded videotape of your
Yeah.
wife of 15 years. This is the longest period of time you've ever been apart. Does it hurt?
Yeah. Wow, American reality TV shows kind
And this one's just
of
like,
insane.
yeah.
Just thinking about it, it's like, oh, well, of course, now it makes sense why I was so crazy. They make him go stir crazy.
Yeah.
Locked up there.
So now all of a sudden,
TV.
having a slab of meat strapped to your head doesn't sound quite so weird.
That sounds a lot better.
Because at least
Honestly.
when you're done, you can go home to your parents. Because you're an AKB-48, so you probably live at home because you're 16.
But still get to go home.
Yeah, you still get to go home.
You don't have to live with the lizard in your house.
For 6 months.
Yeah. With a piece of meat strapped somewhere to your body the entire time.
To win $1 million.
I'd do that for $1 million. That sounds pretty easy.
Honestly, me too, because I don't feel like most lizards don't eat raw meat. They're more interested in, like, crickets. So you're
Ooh, and
probably
see-
fine.
That gets rid of our cricket problem. It's like a beautiful friendship right there.
Do you have a cricket problem, Courtney?
I don't, but if I did, I know who to call now.
You're gonna create a cricket problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they kind of go throughout their day. It looks like they buy their own stuff, which is interesting.
Oh, for food?
Yeah,
or...
they're like, yeah, we got some like necessities.
Right.
Got some staples, which I guess makes sense if they're still working. Like, why not pay for it? You have a job.
Yeah.
And then I like to sort of like Yuki and Makoto like inflating the inner tube while the girls make lunch. It's of course they're such boys. And then they sit down for lunch and Makoto just just shovels it all in. Like
Yep.
he just opens his mouth and inhales the whole table.
That's the only way. That's the way you got to do it.
Yeah.
That's why he's a man after my own heart. So this was one of the things I was looking at. So at this point, I think was it when they were blowing up the inner tubes? Yuki and Makoto were talking about like, what do you like in a
Oh
girl,
yeah, it
or
was
like,
after
do you
they finished
prefer
eating.
tits over ass or something like
To
that?
put
But
it
Makoto's an ass
delicately.
man, so I have a chance if that's the
Courtney.
case. I'm just saying.
Ugh, Courtney. Yeah, I don't.
If I
Yuki
was
immediately
on
brings up
Terrace House,
boobs.
I
Like
feel
he's
like,
just the
yeah,
biggest creep in the universe. They're just like sitting
it's a
there,
mustache.
just like Makoto's like on his phone, like just in a neutral state, and Yuki's just like, "Hi, what do you think about boobs?" And it's just, who are you, Yuki? Why are you here? We know why you're here, and you're here to leer at girls in the pool.
Mustache man.
Mustache man. Yeah, and then they Makoto, Midori, Yuriko, and Yukio play in the pool. The boys are real gross about it. They're all like
Mm-hmm.
making snide comments and looking.
Oh, they also had their code thing in this one
Oh
too.
yeah,
It's like, oh, it between the two girls, who do you like? You gotta say like the color of their bathing suit if you like the girl.
he's yeah.
And
And Makoto's like,
yeah,
I'll say blue. Like for example, I'll say blue.
yep.
And so they get in the pool, and Midori's like wearing blue, and he goes blue.
Which, if you're doing it right in front of them, I feel like that'd be like really obvious. Like they're not dumb. They probably know.
They're
I
not
wish they
dumb.
had done something like similar to back at them. I don't know.
Maybe give it time. They can be the girls can be gross right back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
So going back, so they hang out like right before midnight. They're up late.
They're always up late, like at 1 in the morning,
They
talking and
are.
having like wine and being stylish.
I'm too old for that. Even when I was their age, I was too old for that.
No.
It's like Makoto's eating Kit Kats and drinking
Oh,
beer,
yeah.
which gives me heartburn just like thinking about it.
Nah, it's not really a combo I would enjoy. It's
Mm-mm.
one or the other. I mean, I'm not really a beer fan, but one or the other.
But then there's like this
But,
moment where everyone else goes to bed, and it's just
ooh,
Makoto and Mizuki, and
yeah.
they're all like sitting alone in the living room. They're talking about baseball, and she
And then
pulls
they
out.
get real
They
close.
get real close, and she pulls out her phone, and she's like, "Look at these photos of me in high school," which is like, I'm not. I don't know a whole lot about flirting, but I know that move, and like the vibe
Yeah,
is real good.
it's real good.
And then you cut back
Also,
to,
like,
mhm.
Mizuki's hair is always bouncy and
Ugh,
beautiful and like
ugh.
full. So, I mean, it
She,
also doesn't hurt like that it's
I,
beautiful and like you want to run your fingers through it at that moment.
I love her so much. I'm gonna take a bullet for her. Like, not I would take a bullet for her. I am going to take a
Yeah.
bullet for her. I am
Yes.
going. That is the way that I will die. I know this.
Yep. Only way to do it. That's what you have to do. Like,
Yeah. She's gonna come to California. We're gonna go to LA. Someone's gonna like hold up whatever restaurant we're in, and I'm gonna jump in front of that gun, and it'll be worth it.
it'll be beautiful.
It'll be beautiful.
It'll
Just
be,
like I
I'll
love.
write a great eulogy for
Oh,
you.
thank you,
It's
Courtney.
the way she wanted to go.
And I love like you pan out, and then you have like the host, and they're coming up with like these drama like narrations of what's going
Oh yeah.
on. It's like it fits so neatly into this like dorama narrative, which is so like interesting. Like they're very like conscious of the fact that people are watching this, and that you're
Oh
watching it
yeah.
as a group, and that you're like gonna make up these things. They're like not even
Oh yeah.
trying to pretend like it's like a documentary or something. They're like, we're
Yeah.
gonna make some sense of it.
Oh yeah.
Also, I wrote down, why are they Why are they cooking at 11 p.m.? That's so bad for your health.
Yeah, 'cause, well, what time does everyone get home? It seems like really random the times they come
Yeah,
in and
well, I
out,
think
but
because
I
it's
guess
like you have a bunch of
besides
students too, and they all like they have part-time
true,
jobs and they have club activities. So I'm sure it's like to have all of them together in one space, you have to wait until it's late.
difficult, yeah. Well, I mean, probably Mizuki's the only one with a real like 9 to 5 kind
Yeah,
of job, but then she does the barista stuff on the side.
which I can't even like comprehend. Why would you do barista stuff if you already have a full-time job where you're in
Yeah,
that
why would you
tiny
want
little
two
office?
jobs?
I don't even like having one job.
Oh, one thing I noticed is in the downstairs, where like in the garage where the car is, there's
Uh-huh.
a bouldering wall. I don't know if you saw it.
What? I didn't
Yeah.
notice that.
Yeah, you can if you when you well you'll see it more often I think as we keep watching I'm sure there's gonna be scenes because by like the laundry room, and sometimes they like are sitting there or something like that.
What kind of
But
house is this that they
look,
casually have a bouldering wall?
yeah, look where the car is at. I remember seeing it. It's like, oh my god. But I don't know if anyone's ever gonna use it or not. But that just led me to like, how much does this place actually cost? I got like the fancy bathrooms
Ugh.
and balconies, a pool, and then a bouldering wall inside the garage. The garage must be
Just
huge-ish.
just all of your
So
classic house amenities.
yeah, I mean, and there's a terrace, so that's
Yeah.
why I understand, Terrace House. Okay, it does have a terrace because that was my big question. Like,
Why
this,
is it called Terrace House?
yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's
So
see, for
like
episode two.
Uchi called Mizuki. He says that she's like a mom,
Yeah.
which I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yes and no. I like the older sister thing better than mom, but
yeah. And then apparently it's Yuki's birthday coming up, so he's the only person who's not there, so they plan a birthday party while they eat dinner. Then they show a bunch of babies learning how to do laundry.
oh, see,
In
that's where I saw the bouldering
Yeah,
wall was
yeah.
during the laundry
The
part.
hosts
Yeah.
call it the most romantic laundry room because there's two of them. And they
Talking.
and they kind of like they kind of decide that one's for boys and one's for girls. So it's like God, it's that dorm living fantasy. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it has all of the cliches from like a college movie of like that co-ed living and like communal laundry room and but it's Japan, so they're all in their
And we're,
20s.
yeah, and still beautiful with clear skin and
Yeah.
all
And
that
like
stuff.
and then like so they're like just hanging out and like talking and stuff and like Mizuki makes dinner and like Uchi kind of is in this weird mood where he like fixates on this idea of like women being overly modest and he's like starts grilling all the girls about it. It's like this like really persistent thing that dudes do sometimes where they're like, I
Mm.
have a theory and I'm gonna like prove my theory by asking every woman I know about it
Oh
challenging
yeah,
questions. And it's not an actual like, what do you think? It's a
validate.
women are so like modest all the time, don't you think? And it's like, you're not leaving room for disagreement.
Right, you just validate my point that I believe is true.
Yeah. I don't know, like and, like the male hosts too are just like really cynical. They
Mm-hmm.
like they get mad at like the other male contestants for being handsome. Um and then they kind of end it like they ended the first episode, only this time it's the girls instead of the guys. So this time it's the girls. They're all drinking a beer and wine
Mm-hmm.
glasses and playing cards in the living room and
And
talking about boys, which is like so stylish. It's such a mood.
I wish I was with them
Yeah,
because I fit right in because everyone picked Makoto as their favorite so far.
exactly. And they like, but they talk about like what sport is the coolest for in terms of like what for guys.
Well, was it baseball or like basketball or
I think
something?
they decided it was soccer.
Soccer? Oh, maybe you're right. Yes, I
Yeah,
said soccer.
soccer's the coolest. Like soccer players are the coolest. What do you think?
Yeah. Volleyball players, because they play,
Volleyball.
especially if it's sand volleyball, because then they'd be playing shirtless. So I'm just
Welcome
saying.
to Terrace Neighbors. We're the really thirsty, like, next door neighbors who are, like,
Hmm.
peeking through the curtains and just, like, getting real inappropriate. Just getting real, crossing those boundaries
Oh yeah, all the time.
all the time. Yeah, I don't know. I like soccer players because they tend to be pretty trim as opposed to, like,
Oh yeah,
the football players are big and, like,
basketball players are also really big, but in
basketball
the other
players,
way.
yeah, they're lanky men. And
Hmm.
I come from a family of lanky men, and I'm
Over it.
yeah, it's not as appealing.
Okay.
Um, but I like soccer players or swimmers.
Oh yeah,
Ice
swimmers too.
skaters, ice skaters. I discovered that this Olympics cycle, this year's Olympics, is that male Olympic figure skaters have got great butts,
Strong legs, strong butts,
well
well,
defined.
well defined. Well, I mean, you gotta make those jumps and crazy lifts and
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah. 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 um.
But just I was to say, going back to Makoto, I was trying
Oh
to think
yeah.
like, well, probably what are some of the different things like why he first appealed to me and why probably all the girls were like, oh, he's I don't know, he's got like I guess a boyish charm, like you almost
Yeah.
want to like oh, he's so silly and maybe a little bit dumb, so I want to like watch over him and
He just has a sort of like
protect.
non-threatening vibe too. Like I think
Yeah,
especially if you're living in that sort of intimate environment where you're sharing a room
yeah.
with these people, like if you like flirt with a guy and like he isn't into it or he like breaks your heart or whatever, like you then have to see him like
Mm-hmm.
every day.
He seemed like he'd be a bro. He'd still be your friend.
Yeah, and it's
It'd
like
be
he's
cool.
got that sort of like childish quality where you're like you can kind of tell where you stand as opposed to like Uchi who's a little more calculating and Yuki who's just like a
Mm-hmm.
sociopath off at this point. Like he's
Like
just
Yuki.
Yuki rubbing his hands together and cackling maniacally.
For episode, I can't really think of much else. Sorry, dropping my
Well, I
pen
was just gonna
stuff
make
around.
one last comment.
Yeah, go
Because
ahead.
I found it interesting is that Mizuki's like thinking about marriage. Like when they talk about the guys, she's also talking about like marriage candidates. But she's
Oh.
only 23.
There's that whole saying over there where no one
Yeah,
wants a cake after the 25th, so being
yeah,
25 is
yeah.
too
So like
old. I feel like,
women are like Christmas cakes, that sort of
yeah.
thing. Um, which like I think I accepted a little more easily when I was her age, when I was like 22, 23, because it seemed very realistic that
Mm-hmm.
in the next year or two I would meet somebody. But now I'm 25 going on 26, and I'm just like, you are an
Uh,
infant. Who,
yeah.
who gets married at this age? I know your parents were, but
It
I,
still seems really
it
young
feels
to
so
me anyway.
young to be like, and especially like going into it and being like, I need to find a husband.
Yeah.
Not
I
just
mean,
like,
there's
I want to meet somebody and like hopefully get married in the next year or two. But she's like, you have to think about it seriously because, we're reaching marriage time. But it's like,
it's like you're only 23
I'm
and there's only
22,
three
23.
guys to pick from, so it's not a lot of options
Yeah.
right
And it's
there.
like, and one of them's still in college.
I
I don't know.
mean, I guess if she's thinking marriage, then her only really good pick, guess, would be the supervillain, Yuki.
And if he touches
Because,
her, I will find him.
yeah, rip that mustache right off his
Rip
face.
that mustache right off.
It's probably where he gets tap dancing powers, is through his mustache. So. He'd lose his career, it'd be all over for him.
Oh, can't wait. I'm going to destroy him.
But other than that, I can't think of
Yeah.
anything
So
else for
that was
episode two.
episode 2. Next time we're going to talk about episodes 3 and 4. Episode 3 is called Dream Police, which is now the only occupation I will ever accept for myself. Um, and In Tears Again. So it sounds like a feel good couple of episodes
Oh, yeah,
for
it's gonna be
next
a
week.
good time.
Also, I'm now scrolling down, and number 16, episode 16, is called Magic Spell Costco, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
Oh, ooh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, thanks for listening. This is our first podcast, so thank you for, like with all new podcasts, please come in with a open mind and
An
patient
open heart.
heart.
Yeah.
Hopefully things are going to be starting to pick up next couple episodes. The first 2 episodes are still a little like introductory. We're still learning the people. So hopefully next year we'll have a little bit more to screech about.
Next
Um,
year?
Next year, next time,
Next time.
next time. So next time we're going to be talking about episodes 3 and 4.
See you next time, and I'll try being a little less thirsty for Makoto from now on. I'm sorry, I
No,
apologize.
we got to embrace the thirst. It's the only thing that's
Embrace
going to
it?
set us
Okay.
apart from the dozens of other Terrace House podcasts. Is it's
Okay.
got to be thirsty, it's got to be gay. Those are
Uh,
our only 2 things that we have got going for us. We
That's
can't
the
let
only
it
thing I know
go.
how to do is be thirsty. You got the gay part, I guess, but I can be a little bit gay too. It's all good.
Turn your skills into a career.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
See you next
you.
time. Bye
Bye.
bye.